You are live.
You sure?
Are you sure we're live, Troy?
Yeah, we're live.
He says yes. That come out in the comments.
Oh, we are live.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Sweet. Okay, well, everybody, welcome to the live YouTube chat. We got Casey on from HUSHIN today. Should be a pretty good Zoom conversation.
Pretty good or amazing.
Yeah. First off, everybody, Steve, it's a big secret. What are you drinking?
I don't know.
Oh, man. Case, what do you got?
I'm going light. I'm just drinking some water with a little Mountain Ops in it. Trent, what are you drinking? Tiger's blood?
Case, what do you got?
Yeah.
Well, right over there. Free Joe's got it. No, I had ice water last time. Today I actually have a real drink. It's probably my drink of choice if I had to go there. But
I guess
I have been.
We are live. I looked up on YouTube.
Okay, Case, you good?
Good. Just had to verify.
Yeah, thanks. No, I got a little black velvet with diet root beer. It's a keto drink, really. So
Nice.
Diet root beer.
yeah, look it up.
It used to be Coke Zero.
It used to be Coke Zero for a long time.
Yeah, I'm off the Coke Zero. That's bad for you. I learned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I learned that's not good for
So
you.
just let's clarify a few things.
Yeah, please.
The chat, are these, so Jeffrey Twist just wrote, Steve, brought to you by Bud Light. So can we see all the comments that are going to come through on YouTube?
No, we're clarifying on the
Okay.
run, apparently.
Just-
We're going to see what Troy throws us for questions and stuff like
Okay. All right. I'm going to send out this Instagram now that we're finally live.
that. Okay. Yeah. Let's just not hold up the whole thing. I thought you might have done that a little bit before, but that's
Well, I was
okay.
waiting for us to go live, I didn't want to confuse the audience.
Steve, how was your day, buddy?
Good like always, every day.
Just plumbing the heck out of things?
Yep.
Copy.
Another day in
Copy.
paradise.
Yeah. So, Case, I wanted to just talk about, just to kind of start this thing off, to just get people warmed up. So, everybody that's joined us already, throw out some comments, whatever questions that you have for us, for Casey, for whatever. And let's get this thing rolling. But let's start it out with how's things going over there in the Pocatello part of the world as far as for the COVID-19?
It's been very interesting, right? So like Idaho, I think every state's different. And we definitely have, every state has different rules, or they're not even rules. What would you call them? Like suggestions? Because it can't be laws, right? It's
Well,
not a law.
That's a whole nother thing, but yeah. I would say.
Agreed.
So we've been told stay at home, right? Stay at home, don't essential. Like if you have to work, if your job is essential, you can go and do that. If you have to go to the grocery store, the gas station, or, obviously the hospital or something like that, you can do that. But for the most part, stay at home. Kids aren't in school. Kids are doing all their schoolwork on the computers now. And, but we are, they did definitely tell us that, getting outside is good. Like go outside, hike, fish. They're recommending fishing, which is a little different than Oregon and Washington,
Right.
but social distance yourself. So the Fishing Game came out with this big post that like fishing's still open, go out and fish, just social distance yourself. And, so that's kind of what we've been doing. But my wife's kind of been like locked down, like, which has been good. Like, bless her heart. Like, I keep thinking if it wasn't for her, how would I approach this? And I'd probably like not do the right things. But we have been locked down for 25. I think that today's 25. And I've been to the grocery store 3 times now and the gas station like 3 or 4 times. And then finally yesterday, I took my boys and we went and did a little fishing. And then today, me and Logan, my little brother, went and did a little shooting video. But for the most part, like we've been here, we've been hanging out together, been in the backyard doing a lot of trampoline jumping, shooting the bows in the backyard, and just enjoying each other's company more than anything. It is a little weird. It's very weird what we're like, what's required out of us and what's going on. But it's been nice. You know, a lot of people are complaining about it, and I get it. Like, if we shut the, you know, small businesses down, how are we going to come out of this? Like, what's the economy going to look like? And that scares me. But for the most part, we've just been doing what they've advised, and to stay home. But it's been nice. A lot of people are complaining about it, but it's been nice just being with the kids, hanging out with them all day. Some days are better than the others, you know, 24 days at home. No matter how much you love your kids and your wife, it gets a little frustrating, or gets a little much.
Sure.
Because you're in this confined space for, you know, 24 hours a day. I was just telling Trent this before we went live, like, tomorrow is going to be the exact same as today. I'm going to wake up and go, what's the world doing today? You know? So it's been good. You know, I've gotten cabin fever. The kids are getting cabin fever. My wife's getting cabin fever, but we're just trying to do our part, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah, no. And I think that's the same way too. Our family's taking it. We're going to the next level with it too, as far as like, my wife goes to the store and gets groceries and stuff like that. And other than that, we haven't done anything. I mean, and it's just been at home, and and there's trials, you know, with that too, as far as you just mentioned. You know, you can only be around when you're used to your norm, right? You're used to your normal schedule, or you're used to your normal going out and doing something, or eating out like once a week. That's your fun time, right? You look forward to that. And now it's kind of not taken away from you, but you're just doing the smart thing and staying secluded a little bit. It's really a change. It's a definite change. And but my biggest fear is like you were saying, like, economically, these restaurants and stuff like that don't have, I mean, they don't have anything now, and they don't have people coming in. It's tough. Just, I mean, Myrtle Point, big city over here where I live.
Real big city.
It's a big city, and it's just like there's you know, my regular stomping grounds, my watering hole that I go to, and they do takeouts, you know, so you have to go up to the door and you have to ring in your order, and they come out and bring it to you. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I never even thought, like, in my lifetime I'd ever see that. So my favorite Mexican restaurant in town, bless their hearts, they've stayed open, but and I've never went and sat down and ate there. I've always just went in, ordered, and then went and sat in my truck and waited for 15 minutes, and then I go back in and bring it out. But now they're only open a couple days a week, but you go there, the front's like shut down. They have this window thing that you have to order through, and then you have to go sit in your truck and they bring it out to you. But like, you know, I don't know how many people are doing there. There's a few people doing it when I went there the other night, but like, when I used to go there, like, the dining would be jam packed with people sitting down eating, and now they don't have that. Crazy. They're losing out on probably like 70% of their business. Crazy.
And how long can any business like suffer through that?
Well, especially the small businesses, they're the ones that are going to take a huge hit over this.
Huge hit. And like Trevor, I mean, obviously we're waiting for him to join. Hopefully he joins at some point. He's on the mountain today, guys. He's out with his family. And anyway, he said he's hoping he can find some service to join us. But yeah, it's just, they say he can't practice till June 15th. That's a long time. Yeah. That's a long time.
Long time.
So that's what scares me more than anybody. Like, to be honest, like, our business, the Hush business, really hasn't took a hit yet. You know, honestly, our views are up right now, because that's what happens when people get shut down from doing their normal day things. They have a lot of time to watch YouTube videos, which I'm sure you've experienced that. Luckily, for whatever reason, people are still buying our merchandise. But like, people like Trevor that run, you know, multiple dental practices that have been ordered by the state to shut down.
Yeah.
Unless it's emergency, you know. I actually just got a call from my dentist today, and I'm supposed to do this crown on my tooth and implant a tooth in my head that I've lost, like, next week. And I was like, man, I just feel weird about it, like, coming in there. I don't want to put you guys at risk, so let's push it off. But literally, like, how much business has Trevor lost? Probably 90%.
Well, that dentist that you just denied, he probably really needed you to come in.
Yeah. I felt bad, but at the same time,
nice work. I hope you're doing well.
That really backfired. Yeah. I'm actually coming to see Trevor.
Yeah. I hope you're doing good.
Trevor's probably like 100% right now. I mean, there's nothing he can do.
like
emergency
toothaches
stuff
and stuff, right?
Emergency
stuff.
but
Yeah, emergency stuff. But the problem is with that whole deal, and we're going to get some questions, guys. We see a bunch of questions coming in. We're going to get there here in just a second. But like emergency stuff he can do, but they also ordered him to give up a lot of his PPE, personal protective equipment. So he's like, okay, so now I have all these, where do I go with this? When I do get back to work, I have to keep some stuff for emergency. So I think a lot of that's kind of in limbo as well. So it's a little different deal.
It's crazy times.
Crazy times. Let's get on some questions here.
Question?
Zeb Shalas. Yep.
Close in the ballpark.
So what's y'all's thoughts on this year? I'm assuming, on hunting this year. Man,
actually, we were just texting a little bit ago about this.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
As of today, Oregon is no longer allowing any non-resident hunters into the state coming Friday at midnight.
Yeah.
So how are they going to regulate that? Like with sales of tags, or
it's going to be, so say there's a non-resident that has a spring bear tag. I mean, I don't know if they've already got the tag, how you're going to, I guess unless if they run into a law enforcement officer, that would really be the only way. But beyond that, tag sales and stuff, they won't be able to purchase anything. So if this doesn't start to change, we were talking earlier, what's that going to do across the board in all the other states? Is every state going to start shutting down? I mean, that's why Idaho did that, because, the problem Washington's dealing with right now, that's the big thing, because of all the cases up there, all the states bordering that, they're wanting to shut it down because they don't want all the non-residents coming in, to other states to be able to hunt or fish, which, I mean, it's a bummer, but I get it, at the same point, because they do have a lot of cases up there, and until it gets more under control.
Well, that's what I keep wondering. Like like I said before, like every state's different. Every state has different protocols and suggestions. And like Washington is like locked down, right? Like they've closed down boat ramps. They've closed down. They closed down
everything.
The actual bear season, the actual turkey season.
Yeah.
I know Idaho did was they quit selling non-resident tags. So if you're a non-resident, you can't buy a turkey tag, you can't buy a bear tag. And so I'm assuming, which I haven't read into it thoroughly, but if you had already purchased your bear tag and your turkey tag, you're welcome to come hunt those seasons. But I keep thinking, like, I hear stuff like what you're talking about, Steve. Is it going to come to a point where there's like barricades or like stops like at borders that like you're trying to go into Oregon because you might have already like bought a bear tag, and they're going to say, sorry, you're non-resident? Because this comes down to like Brian drew a really good bear tag on Mount Emily this year. Yeah. And so that starts the 15th of this month, and we're just kind of playing it by ear. Like, are we going to be able to go over there? And I don't think yet Oregon has said no non-residents, because he's had the tag for what, 2 months now? When did the bear draws come out? 2 months ago?
About a month. Just over a month ago.
Is it going to come to a point where there's actually stops? Like when you try to go to California and they stop you to make sure you don't have any fruit in your truck? Is that what's going to happen? Like, you're a non-resident, like, sorry, go home?
It's hard to say, and like coming from where we're coming from, in my opinion, and I think you guys would agree with me, like going bear hunting with your family or something, whoever else has been social distancing, would be like the best thing of social distancing, right? I mean, that
100%.
You're out in the woods. So I mean, I think it's a very kind of a, man, I don't know. It's a really, really difficult situation to kind of adhere by. But
my thing is on the hunting side of it, and even the fishing side. If everybody uses a little common sense, you're out in the outdoors, you're social distancing yourself, you're maybe with a friend or two, people that, they say, oh, you don't know if you have it, but you're showing no symptoms. Using common sense, you should be able to travel. It's no different than going to the store in your local town. It's no different than getting gas in your local town. And you should be able to go out and social distance yourself and be able to enjoy yourself somewhat a little bit. I mean,
I would agree.
That's
but
how I feel about it.
Playing devil's advocate, like you said, you're going to the gas station, you're going to, like I was talking to Ben, Ben, both local chiropractor here. And, you know, he was just like, they still say that I'm, you know, I can practice, but Ben was saying his whole thing was like, what if someone gets it from my office somehow? What's the repercussions on that? What does that come back? And then pretty soon I'm in a lawsuit because someone got the coronavirus and they tracked it back to my office. And I mean, it's that double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that.
We'll see a lot of people, a lot of businesses, that are considered essential. I think some of them, they're scared of lawsuits. They're
100%
afraid
Really?
if somebody does get it, if they're
Oh,
going to try
dude,
to
I
sue
think
you
out
to
of
get
this,
some money.
I honestly think out of this, that's what you're going to see next. I see like attorneys just going, wait for what's happening next. Because if you can track stuff back to where maybe possibly the governor said, okay, this wasn't supposed to happen here, it's going to be a real humdinger.
Damn, that's so crazy. I hadn't even thought about lawsuits. Like, has anybody ever sued anybody for getting a cold or getting the flu or getting
for something that they said they weren't
chickenpox?
supposed to do?
That's crazy.
It seems like to
It's
me,
a total
people
different
can,
deal. That's where we're
people
thinking
can
outside the box
sue-
around here, Case.
people can sue for just about anything nowadays. It seems like.
Let's get to some questions, guys. Let's go from the negative town and let's go to positive. Let's go to positive town. Zachary, why am I reading these?
Do you want me to read words for you, Trent?
You're better.
It's the.
What would you recommend for a first-time elk hunt as someone from northern Minnesota? Bow, muzzleloader, or rifle, or where? Wow. Case, go ahead.
Oh man, that's a open-ended question. I would recommend doing some research. There's a lot of great options out there for research, but I can tell you from my experiences, and I tell a lot of people this, and maybe I shouldn't, but Colorado is a very good state with a lot of opportunity. It's an opportunity state, right?
Sure.
So you can pick up archery tags, you can pick up rifle tags over the counter for the majority of the state. And Colorado, out of any state in the world, really has the most elk. There's estimated over like 470,000 elk in Colorado. So there's a lot of elk there, and there's a lot of opportunity. And that's for, I don't know about muzzleloader. I'm assuming muzzleloader is the same, but I know archery and rifle tags, you can pick them up. We always typically draw deer tags over there for third season, which is in like 1st of October. And we can always buy an over-the-counter elk rifle tag over there, and we always see elk. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And Idaho is another one. Idaho is a very opportunistic state, especially if you're an archery hunter. I would say 70% of the state is you can pick up an archery elk tag over the counter, and that gives you, Idaho's great because they have such lengthy seasons. You can hunt from August 30th till September 30th in 70% of the state with just an over-the-counter tag. So
that's pretty awesome.
If you're looking for opportunity, I would say look into Colorado and Idaho, and just do some research. There's a lot of great things online that you can research, but do some research on certain areas, but just go do it. Like, go figure it out. Like, if you watched our videos, and especially Born and Raised, if you watch Born and Raised videos, they give you a lot of great tactics and tips.
I think just jumping in, I'm sorry to interrupt, Case, but I get a lot of emails on this kind of same topic. And what I would say to everybody out there is research is half of the hunt. Your hunt starts when you go, I want to go elk hunting. It doesn't start when I'm actually at the trailhead of where I want to hike it. No, it starts when I want to go elk hunting. And then you go from there to the research, and you go to your Onyx maps, you go to your Go Hunt, you go to whatever. Okay, I want to research this, and I want to break this down of where I want to go, what tag I want to get, what unit I want to draw. I mean, that's part of the hunt. That is all part of your season of hunting. And anyway, a lot of people are just like, well, where do I go? What's the best unit? And what should I do? Well, the research, that's half of the fun of it. So anyway, I would recommend anybody just dive in. Yeah, dive in there. I mean, back 10 years ago, 12, let's go 12 years ago, you didn't have the information. You had to go and you had to scout and you had to do all this stuff. Now you have so much information via the internet, via all these different apps and all these different things. It's just like, it's right at your fingertips. You can actually
that's the whole thing.
You can go pre-scout the whole thing of your whole hunt before even stepping foot on the ground at your own house. And anyway, that to me is just like, guys, we have so many resources now. Just go do it.
Yeah, technology has been, it's changed the world for whatever you're wanting to do. Like you were saying, 10, 12 years ago, you had some things you could do, but you would literally have to call, like if you drew a tag in Colorado, you would have to call the Game and Fish and order a map from them of a certain area. Maybe a buddy gave you a tip on a certain area, and you'd call and you'd order this map that came to you, and it was this big. And you start looking at some access points and, like what you thought looked good, but now it's all digital. You can do it all from your fingertips, right on your screen. You can go to Google Earth. OnX is probably one of the best tools out there. It probably is the best tool out there digitally that you can look at. Access is probably the number one thing I look at. Is it might have 80% of public lands, but how can you access those public lands? Are they all landlocked, or part of them landlocked, or is it accessible to get in there? So there's a lot of tools out there to help you guys, but research, like Trent said, is half of the battle. When you get boots on the ground finally, that's where the other half comes in. You got to work hard. You got to be willing to go and move around, but research is definitely half the battle.
All right, guys. Nice job, Kate. Hey, we got a question for Case right here. Shredded Times Outdoors. Question for Casey. I actually read that.
I think I know those guys.
Yeah. Do you? Well, they want to talk to you. What are some good tips on growing your YouTube channel when you aren't well known?
Oh man, there's a lot of things there. I always say there's no like secrets to it, because we've always been open books. And what I can tell you is figure out something. Number one is like figure out why you want to do YouTube. Like why do you want to grow YouTube channels? If it's to make money or become famous, like you're probably not going to hit those things, because it's always going to be a drag, because it takes a long time. It really does. It's like anything else that you become successful at. It's a lot of hard work. It's not giving up. It's, keeping your head down on your own path, but figure out why you want to do that. If it's because that you're passionate about sharing the outdoors with other people, or if you're passionate about getting new people involved, like figure out what's your why. And then moving on from that, it's consistent content. You can't let a channel just marinate for weeks on end without having content. And I always tell people, like, figure out, once you have this channel built, figure out how much content you can actually release. If you're working full-time as a construction worker or whatever you might do, figure out how much effort you can put into this. If it's one video a week, if it's 2 videos a week, figure that out and stick to it, but be consistent. And number one is don't give up. Like I said, it's like anything in life. It's like becoming a dentist or becoming a professional basketball player. You have to work hard. You can't give up. Nothing's easy. Like nothing that's worth it is easy. So you just have to stay the route, stay consistent, and continue to work hard. You have to be a hustler. You have to be willing to, put up a lot of content, put up a lot of social media posts and stuff like that to grow your brand and grow that into the people's eyes. So those things are what helped us. Trent, what are some of the things you would say?
It's crazy that question's asked, honestly, because the guy that it got me or us as a group to do this is sitting down there in the bottom corner of this Zoom, which is you, Case. Okay. So
I'm actually in the top right.
Cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag. But
okay, so tell me this, Trent. We had this very, like, in my eyes, it was very historic, like, conversation.
Yeah.
It was on our first steelhead trip we ever did. It was really the first time.
I'm going to go take a picture of that rock that we sat on at some point and send it to you in a frame. I have a picture of you and Trevor, man. Like, I would love to frame it. Anyway, we were on our first. We don't need Trevor in it.
Still, just me and you. Really, like our first steelhead trip. Yeah. We were at the house we rented. We'd fished all day. We came back. We were fishing. Some guys were fishing the home waters. And you guys brought that question up. You and Trevor brought that question up. Like, is this something we can really do? Because at the time, you guys were doing DVDs mainly.
Correct. Yeah.
You guys had been very successful for years doing that.
Well, but the thing about it was we reached thousands of people, right? Or hundreds and thousands, but we did not reach the masses of what we were trying to explain is like, our whole thing is, to to educate, inspire, and entertain people. And anyway, we didn't get that message out there to the people that we could. And man, that day, and I think this has been spoken a lot of times before, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. And my biggest question to you is can this be lucrative? Can we do this? And it was a lot of it. And honestly, back to the question of Shredded Times Outdoors, it's scary, man. It's a little bit scary. Like as Casey did as well, I gave up my full-time job. I gave up, and I jumped in both feet. And anyway, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you it was up and down, and it's just negotiated its own path the whole way. It's been a crazy journey, but you know what?
From that conversation that we had, me, you, and Trevor sitting on the rock, like. Yeah. What I just said, like what my tips were was anything different than what I told you guys that night?
No.
It's the same recipe, right?
The recipe works. But at the same time, and I will emphasize on what you said, is like people think that, oh yeah, you just have this YouTube channel, you just throw up these videos, you guys get to hunt and fish for a living. No, it's hard work. And that's just to emphasize on what you said. It is consistent posting, consistent work, consistent, and don't get me wrong, it's a labor of love, as it is for you as well, but it is still, it's a lot.
Well, it's a full-time, like you go to these expos or wherever, and people introduce themselves, and we're always super grateful to talk to the people that are watching our videos, but they're like, man, you're just like living my dream. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like if you were to I think you take any of the Hush crew or any of the Born and Raised crew back until we were like 12 or 14 and said, all right, man, like what do you want to do when you're like, what are you going to do when you're older? A lot of guys would be like, oh, I want to be a professional basketball player or a snowboarder or whatever it might be. Like, I think at one point in all of our lives, we'd said, I would love to make hunting and fishing videos because I'm very passionate about that. Right. So we are living the dream. Like without a doubt, we're living the dream, but it's a 24/7 job. The thing with the internet is it doesn't shut off. You don't clock in or clock out. We put up content or put up posts, and you go to bed at night and you're knowing that new content's out there, and maybe someone's going to hate it and have some bad criticism for you, and it's always out there. It's always rolling. Whoops, sorry. Getting a little out of hand with my hand. But anyway, like it's a full-time job. I'm thinking about this job as much as I've ever thought about any job I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And you're working at it as much as you've ever worked at, I used to work at a steel mill, and we'd work 12-hour days. And so one week I'd work 60 hours. Next week I'd work 48 hours. And it was a lot of hard work. I was gone from the family a lot, but I can tell you like what I do now is I am more involved now with what I'm doing than I ever was with any other job I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. And it takes your whole family too. I mean, it's not just you. Your whole family is in the whole deal. So
without a doubt.
All right, let's turn and burn.
I don't have Corona. I'm just coughing a little bit. Sorry.
You have Corona, guaranteed.
I've been checked.
Steve, you got the next one. You ready for this?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. As an Idaho elk hunter with big hills and open ground to glass, what's a few pointers or things to take into account when looking to hunt Roosevelt elk in Oregon?
Throw your glass away.
Yeah. You don't need the binoculars anymore, really, at all.
Yeah.
Over here, for us, what helped us be more successful was covering a lot of ground with a lot of calling, because with the dense vegetation, you don't hear, because we do have clear cuts, but there's some areas where there is no clear cuts. It's a lot of timber, a lot of, that second growth stuff. And over here, it's covering a lot of ground and a lot of low vocalization, a lot of calling is involved. And you've got to hit every little nook and cranny, because in other states we've hunted, you can hear bulls across a canyon 800 yards away. Here, you might not hear a bull at 300 yards until you get just around the right side of the ridge, because how thick our vegetation, it muffles their bugles so much. I mean, so that's a big difference that I've noticed us hunting in some open country as opposed to here. Is their vocalization does not carry here like it does in Eastern Oregon or, a lot of that more open country. So
Case, I'm just going to give you 2 sentences, 3 sentences on this. We got a ton to get through, so go. Case, you've been here. You're a huge Roosevelt hunter. You've pretty much done it all.
I'm just the trigger man when I Roosevelt hunt. You guys put me in the right position. A
Just
couple
go.
sentences. What Steve said is 100% correct. You're trying to cover every nook and cranny. So if you're coming from Idaho and you're like what we do in Idaho, I'm from Idaho, is you try to cover every inch you can with your glass. You try to glass everything you can, get different angles to glass canyons. But what Steve said was 100% correct. You try to cover as much country as you can, but you're using not your glass, but you're using your calls. And that's the truth, because the first time I hunted over there, we heard a bull bugle and I'm like, dude, he's like, I don't know, like a mile away. And they're like, no, he's 300 yards. I'm like, dude, I've heard elk bugle a mile away, that he's far. And they're like, it's crazy when you get into Oregon and get into those rainforests and that dense forest, how much that sound is muffled by how many, plant and growth and trees there are. And it's the truth. But what Steve said is you cover every inch you can using your calls. That was like 4 sentences.
100%. Yeah. Okay. This is pretty cool. Jeff Boston. Casey, after watching your daughter take down that massive bull giant with the 6.5 Creedmoor, what is your thoughts on the cartridge? We've had a ton of questions on this. Let's just cover it.
Question.
Honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about the cartridge. My daughter got that gun 2 years ago. Weatherby sent us a 6.5 Creedmoor for her in the Camilla, which is made for women and small children. I didn't know a whole lot about the cartridge. It's obviously like the hot cartridge right now. Like, people like, there's memes out there like making fun. It's like the cool cartridge or whatever, the cool kids are shooting it. That gun is amazing. Like, I shoot it myself. My daughter shoots it. When she drew this tag, I knew what the tag was. I knew there were some giant bulls in there. And I was trying to convince my daughter, who's 15 and not real big, she's real petite. I was like, you need to shoot I wanted her to shoot my 3378, which she was like, no, which is a big gun.
That's a big gun.
I wanted her to shoot my 300 Weatherby, which she was like, no. And so I was like, really like, man, like, she'd always shot the 6.5 really well. The gun fit her really well. There's very little recoil. And so I texted the marketing manager, Kevin at Weatherby, and I said, dude, what's your thoughts and opinions on the 6.5 Creedmoor for elk? And he's like, honestly, I know guys that kill elk every year with it out to 400 to 500 yards. Keep your distances short, out to like 300 to 400 yards. And it's all about shot placement. And that's the whole thing. Like, I could have her shoot the 3378, which she's not going to shoot as well because she's scared of it. Or I could have her shoot the 6.5, which I know she shoots it very well, very consistent with it. And so that's why I went with that and allowed her to shoot that, because I knew she would hit her mark because she loves that gun. She's very comfortable with that gun. The cartridge, in my opinion, is a great cartridge for elk, for deer, for anything. It will do the job. It reminds me of the 308, to be honest. It's not a real fast shooting gun, but it's a very accurate cartridge.
It's super accurate. If you look at the kinetic energy and you look at the ballistics of that gun, I shot it this last year in the SIG Cross. I shot it was 6.5 Creedmoor. Yes, that bull took a bunch of hits. It didn't go more than 10 yards, but at the same time, if you look ballistically, and I don't want to get into all this because we can go for hours on this, but ballistically and with everything involved, it's amazing round. It's an amazing round.
I would recommend this. I don't know what bolts you were shooting, but what Kevin from Weatherby told me, he said, I would highly recommend going out and getting the Hornady 142 ELDXs.
That's the best shot.
Which is, and we went and got it, and the ballistics on that bullet is a little better than the most for the 6.5 Creedmoor, but that's what she shot. She killed a bull at 300 yards, and he died within seconds.
Dead. All right, moving forward. What is your preferred caliber? Blah, blah, blah. Let's keep moving. As far as 300 Win Mag or 7mm Remington Mag over your current setup. I don't know.
Is that what you're shooting in your SIG, is a 6.5 Creedmoor?
I was on that elk hunt. I shot a 6.5 Creedmoor. Me and Dirk both killed bulls with it, but now we're shooting right now for bear hunting. We are packing actually a 308. So it's a little bit different caliber. I shot it the other day. It was awesome.
No, it was my very first gun I ever owned was a 308.
Dude.
So my heart I have a big place in my heart for the 308. That's what snipers use in the military, is a 308.
Oh yeah, big time. They're super accurate, long range, great bullet, great gun. So, all right. So let's get back at this here. How are those 6 hour rifles shoot? I shoot a P229 handgun, but never shot a SIG rifle. All that I've had, honestly, I've shot more rifles in the last year and a half or so than I've ever shot. As far as Trevor's been the long range guy in our group, honestly. And anyway, and so I've got to go out and shoot long range with him with the rifles and stuff like that. It's been awesome. The SIG Cross stuff that we've shot has been just awesome. And anyway, I can't say enough about it. Our videos and stuff like that. It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Can I just read one of the comments real quick?
I would appreciate it if you did. I don't know where you're at in the comments, but I see 17 down below
Just
mine.
got to show Austin something.
Big A?
Big A. Oh, Austin Throat Punch says, I'm 90% sure Casey's not wearing pants. So just so you know, Austin, today is the first day in 24 days I put pants on.
Wow. I'm rolling sweatpants hard right now.
Of course you are.
Hard. Trent, people are asking about gang bags. Okay, guys. So gang bags have not, I'm not saying they're put on hold, but right now we're dealing through material situations. And anyway, so a lot of the sew shops that are involved with game bags right now are making masks. And it's the biggest question that we get emailed. And we're trying so hard to get them to the public. Casey, were the game bags awesome?
Yeah, from what I saw, like, I'm excited to get my hands on them for sure. I think you guys have something very special. We actually,
you're not getting a set. But
can we talk about the history of the game bags? I think the last Rosie I shot is what you took measurements off to create the game bag, correct?
So I'm sitting at my desk right now and I'm looking out in the front yard where you were parked, and we pulled those hams and stuff out of the cooler. Remember that?
Yeah, we were trying to leave and you're like, hold on, I got to measure your quarters.
Yeah, hold on. So yeah, we are working as much as we can on them, but right now our hands are kind of tied as far as sew shops and stuff like that, guys. But we are definitely working on that as we speak. So, all right, go for the next question. It's your shot. Steve, I haven't heard from you in a while.
I don't have any.
Do you have
any game bags?
Oh, do I have a question?
Yeah. No, read the question. How much Bud Light have you had?
I can't see the questions.
Steve's on his phone, so it's a little different. I'll read one.
Oh, so
this is one Troy definitely wanted us to read. This is from Galen Bender. I'm hopefully headed to Montana this fall for a combo rifle tag. I still need a good sleeping bag. I'm a bigger guy at 5'11". I wouldn't say that's bigger. 260 pounds. What bag would you guys recommend that doesn't break the bank? Trent, this could be a question for you or Steve.
Oh man, I get a lot of this on email too, as far as questions, and honestly, I will say, Galen, it's a huge concern as far as if you're not comfortable on your hunt, if you're not sleeping right, it's gonna change the whole hunt for you. So you need to get this figured out as far as that goes. And there's a few different things that I will recommend, like as far as like you can save money on these certain things, but you should actually spend the money on some things. And a sleeping bag and comfortable sleeping pad is one of the things that you need to spend money on.
Especially if you are sleeping on the ground.
Yes.
You definitely want a good pad.
Exactly. Because if you're cold, if you're cold and uncomfortable, you're going to quit hunting before the next guy that goes, man, I had a great night of sleep. Right. So anyway, so go ahead, Steve.
Bag wise, some of the newer bags now, the newer downs, those, and Casey was out of Montana rifle hunt?
Let me see. He just said Montana this fall. Combo rifle tag. So yeah, later.
Okay,
that's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold. Trent and I were in Montana that one year when it was 8-10 degrees for 3 days.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can get a nice down 20-degree bag. You know, when we were there, I was running a 20-degree down with a 15-degree liner. And, you know, that 20-degree down was, you're going to be spending between 250, you know, around $250 or $300 for a decent, good down, lower temperature bag. You know, they get higher. Some of those 0-degree downs are 500, but for a good down bag, it's going to be, you're spending over $200 to stay comfortable.
So I'm running the Chilkoot by Stone Glacier is what I wear. I don't even know if that's even a real thing, but yeah, that's what I am using now as far as that goes. And anyway, just because of the mass. So my shoulders are pretty wide, and so I'm not a big mummy bag fan at all, but they don't make a square bag that's like for us bigger guys. So my recommendation would be, hopefully I'm going to make one here shortly, but if I don't, the Chilkoot is the best thing that I've found.
Did you just open up a giant can of worms?
I think you did.
Hey,
Are you going to be making one soon?
Look for it within the next 6 or 7 days. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Case.
You want me to read it? Ian Lamb says, Steve's being too quiet. Question for him. How do you find bears on the coast? Glass and wait or glass and move on? They all look the same.
I would say glass and cover a lot of ground. A lot of ground, a lot of glassing. I mean, not so much sitting in one spot, but, you know, depending on how much time you have to hunt, if say you've only got like 3 days, I would say cover a lot of ground, because this spring so far, Trent and I went out and we saw an area that's had a lot of bear. There's a lot of bear scat on these two little roads, and we've only saw one little bear in there. But, you know, you could, if you had a short amount of time, you could, in 3 days, you might not see what you want to see over that short amount of time. So I would say cover a lot of ground if you don't have a lot of time to hunt. But if you got a lot of time, you could keep going back to those same spots.
So how long would you typically sit in one spot in glass before you move?
So say it's an evening hunt, not very long. I'm covering, so in an area where there's a lot of units, I'm bouncing from unit to unit to unit, and then possibly coming back through those units over, say, from like 5:30 in the evening till 8 o'clock. Say it gets dark at 8.
So you actually glass a unit, move to the next unit, move to the next unit, and then you'll go back to the unit that you glass first.
Work out a ridge on units and then come back on that same ridge.
Back.
Yep.
Bears are funny, especially in your guys' country. Like, people think that, you know, a big giant black bear, you can see it like walking around the hillside because nothing's in nature is pure black. But bears are not that big, right? And they could be easily be behind a stump or be behind a tree eating, you know, moths or whatever they're eating. And, you know, 10 minutes later, he might pop out and be like, oh man, where did that bear come from? That's my experiences anyway.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Steve.
Well, I've one of my big ones I got a couple of years ago. I literally glassed the ridge line, walked around probably 700 yards, and when I looked back, he was coming out. So he wasn't there 3, 4, 5 minutes earlier, and I came over, looked up from a different angle, and here he comes walking out of the timber. So I mean, anytime they can pop out of anywhere.
Yeah. Sweet.
100%. 100%. Richard Staten says, Trent, by the way, Joe is innocent. As an Oklahoma resident, I can confirm.
Of course he is.
Duh.
Yes.
Your mule deer hunt was on point. Are you going to bring us more rifle hunts? Love to see it. Yeah. I honestly, Richard, I love to do rifle hunts. It's actually something that I'm liking to get back into. It was cool that Trevor and Cody got out and did a rifle hunt this last year. It was really, really fun to watch. But yeah, no, I want to kind of be well-rounded. I would like to get back into muzzleloader hunting too. I've done a few of those. It's super, super fun. And there's some awesome tags that you can draw with the muzzleloader. So anyway, a lot of that stuff. Yeah. We're not going to change from our regular bow pattern, you know, our bow hunting and stuff like that. But we're trying to just kind of just be well-rounded and get back into some stuff that we grew up on. So absolutely. Absolutely.
This is a good question.
Go ahead.
Is this from the same guy? Jeffrey Twist.
I don't think so.
He wrote, "What do you carry as your self-defense gun for grizzly country when bow hunting?" Answer that one. You've hunted Wyoming last few years, Trent. Steve.
Yeah. We've hunted grizzly country a couple different times, and
I've hunted brown bear country.
Yeah, we're pretty naive. We don't carry much.
No, my stuff's in my pack. I don't have anything. Bear sprays in the pack, pistols in the pack.
We're looking to do actually we're working with SIG right now to possibly do a backcountry pistol. So it would be something that we're working on right now. Get ready for that to come out. It's going to be pretty awesome. But they make bear spray every day. Apparently bear spray is good too. It's one of those things where I've hunted a couple different units where there's grizzly bears, and maybe here coming up, Case, one of these days, bro, one of these days.
You're opening up so many cans of worms, dude.
So many cans.
We went and hunted Montana 2 years ago. You guys weren't there, but it was me, Brian, Logan, and then Cody and Trevor. And we were hunting in Montana, and there's just grizzly bears in Montana, right? And where we were hunting at first didn't have a lot of grizzly bears per se, but they're everywhere, just like northern Idaho and where I've hunted, where I grew up elk hunting. I've had some run-ins with grizzlies. I'm not terrified of them, but I'm definitely like aware of them. And so I always pack bear spray or pack a pistol, but mostly I pack bear spray. Cody and Trevor were over the bear spray. They're like, stuff's stupid. We're not going to pack it. They packed it for a few days and they're just like, this is weight to our pack, especially Cody, right? He's an ounces guy. And so we hunted for like 4 or 5 days, killed 2 bulls, and then we had to move to another area because of weather. Now, the second area we were going to was definitely like heavily populated with grizzly bears. We all packed bear spray. Cody shot a bull, didn't have any concern about grizzlies, got it packed out. The next morning, I was like, you know what? I've never deployed my bear spray. I want to see what this bear spray is all about. Like, you hear about it and you hear recommendations like when to shoot it. So we were just at camp. We loaded up camp in the trucks and we we're getting ready to head home. And I was like, I'm going to deploy this stuff and just see. And I was blown away by like what that can of bear spray lacked. It was sad. So
really?
what I came back with, what we all did was
what we all did.
So if a grizzly bear is like charging you, right? And they say
Sure.
to deploy the bear spray at 20 yards. And then you want to fog them, right? Like fog it, like make a big area.
Let it rip.
I sprayed that at a tree and it was very it was not cool. So
Really?
what I came back with was if a bear was charging you and you listened to the instructions and you deployed that bear spray at 20 yards, that bear, because when you think about a grizzly bear, you're thinking like, I don't want that grizzly bear to get within like 5 feet of me. I don't want him to touch me.
No.
If you deploy that bear spray at 20 yards and that bear is running 30 miles an hour, because that's what a grizzly bear can run,
You're done.
that bear is going to hit you. He's going to take you out. He's going to bite on you a few times before he realizes what that pepper spray in his nose is bad. He might get off you, but it's not going to stop confrontation. In my opinion, if you deploy that bear spray when they tell you to, that bear is going to hit you and he's going to take you down. But hopefully he doesn't have time to like completely chew your face off, but maybe just bite you a few times and then leave. I'm not down with that.
No.
And they say like, and I agree, like I'm terrible with a pistol. I shoot a pistol quite a bit, like practice with it and stuff, but I'm not good. I'm not like sufficient with it. So, but I would rather take my chances with a pistol, shooting a bear and hopefully getting a good shot, just, out of my butt, like hit him in the face and he dies, or hit him in the skull and he dies. Bear spray, in my opinion, is like, you're going to get hit. You're going to get attacked. And hopefully he leaves you. My opinion.
Love it.
My opinion.
In my opinion.
You know what I would pack around if I could? A sawed-off shotgun.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, Logan actually found one when we were headed to Montana. Logan's terrified of grizzlies too. He found a shotgun that you can load up that shoots 3 slugs, and then the fourth one is a flamethrower.
Yeah. Logie definitely should have been on tonight.
He just texted me actually. Logie said,
Of course he
if
did.
you guys are on for a while longer, I'll be able to hop on. We just got done with family time.
Of course he did.
I'm gonna tell him to hop on.
Tell him to hop on anytime he can. I don't know how long we got you for or whatnot. Let's field some more questions. Okay.
Hold on real quick. Mike Olson, yes, send me my drift boat, please. My Willie drift boat now.
Okay.
Mike asked if I'm ready for my Willie drift boat. Yes, Mike, I am. Send it to me.
Yeah, send it to him. We've been talking about that. I just talked to Mike today. It was 81 degrees today in Medford.
Dude, it was 77 here in Pocatello. I was blown away.
Was
yeah.
it? That's
we should
nuts.
be out trout fishing right now in our Willie's drift boat.
Easy. In a Willie's drift boat. Big plug.
Plug
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Check's going to get sent in the mail.
I just want a drift boat.
I just want a drift boat. Bad. Just bad. Someone asked, where was it as far as the calls go? Man, I go through these and it's just like, yeah, that's my bad. Anyway, the question was, and I'm apologizing for whoever sent the question that I don't have your name out there, but if you buy some of the bro pack, can I have a call that works for me? I get this question a lot on email, and we get a lot at sports shows and stuff like that. Our calls are very, very different. Each one is a little bit different, and as far as stretch and latex, and but I will say one of the three calls will definitely, you will be able to get some sound out of, and or not all three of them. A lot of people can just blow all three of them really, really well.
Tell me what comes in a bro call pack?
Just the three calls that we have.
Black, yellow, blue.
Yeah. And each of us can blow one better than the other, honestly. And so we thought we'd offer all of those. And I will say, yeah, you can blow. I'm not guaranteeing, but I'm guaranteeing you can blow one of the three and make good elk sounds out of it. Case?
I would say I've used all three of them and I can make them all work. I don't want to pick favorites.
But if you have
to pick a favorite?
Yeah, if it's not.
Can I put them in order?
Yeah, please.
This is like, for me, everyone's different. Everyone's mouth's different. For me, though, black, I can blow it the best.
Horrible.
Yellow, and then blue.
Okay. I'll take second place.
Yeah.
Is yours yellow?
I developed the yellow call. Trevor's is the black, and Cody's is the blue. Steve could not.
Black, then yellow.
Steve's the black guy.
Black, then yellow. Yep. That's
goodness gracious.
Just like Wiz Khalifa, black and yellow, man.
Why am I second place?
Dude, right. There's been times, like, to be honest though, Trent, like I've been showing my kids how to use the calls. They can't blow any of them, but they can make some noise out of the yellow one.
Boom. Yes.
So if you're like a super beginner like Trent, the yellow is the best.
All right. Let's bump the brakes. Let's Trent, Ian Lamb, Steve's been too quiet. Trent, who are the guys behind you? I got this picture sent from a couple Marines that sent it to me. This was probably last year. So
oh dang, that's awesome. I didn't see the DVD.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So
can I just say those guys look like complete badasses?
Yeah, you can't say it. It's a statement. Yeah, it's a statement. They're the real.
Those guys, thank you for protecting our country.
Yeah. Anything that has to do with military and stuff like that, I hold pretty darn high. So
that's way cool.
Yeah. So pretty awesome. And we get a lot of emails and stuff like that. Like, you know, our videos are getting people through this or through that in the military and stuff. It's pretty humbling. I will definitely say. So Seth Hamill, what is your guys' strategies when it comes to blacktail hunting? Ooh. Honestly, man, it's the same almost as bear hunting. Is we glass. It's the different. We do a lot of rifle blacktail hunting. I guess I'm talking to rifle blacktail hunters. So yeah,
I would say our archery side was when we used to archery hunt. We just covered ground.
Yeah, but still we use glass because we
did too.
Yeah,
it was a little bit different than rifle. Rifles, like if you're in a good area, you definitely sit and just pick units apart. A lot of time behind the glass.
Just glass it up. Oh, here's a good one. Todd McClary, what's your opinion on the wolf population and wolf control? Steve?
In Oregon?
I guess anywhere.
I know in Oregon it's horrible.
Okay, well, that's out of the bag.
So I can speak to this a little bit. Idaho was like one of the first states to like be affected when they introduced wolves back in the 90s, obviously, because they introduced them in the Yellowstone ecosystem, which that's kind of where I used to hunt, is up by Yellowstone, up in Island Park. And dude, they devastated the elk. And then, it's been 10 years, and then they opened the season up for them. And wolves did a lot of damage to the elk populations, but more so, which I shouldn't say more so, but also wolves changed a lot of the way elk reacted to certain things, right? So we used to go up to Island Park and call, and man, you could hear elk bugling all day long. In any canyon you'd go to, you'd hear elk bugling. And then the wolves came, and it really shut that down. They stopped bugling as much. They stopped calling as much. They really changed their habits. But Idaho actually and it's gotten better now that we've hunted them, and wolves know that, they're not the like top dog on the list anymore. But Idaho just changed it and really opened up the season. So before, there was certain seasons for every zone you could hunt for a certain amount of time, and there was maybe like what's it called when you can only shoot so many? There was like
a quota.
There was a quota in all these units. In some units, you couldn't take more than like 15 wolves in this unit in the calendar year. Idaho just opened it up, and like you can basically hunt wolves for like 10 months out of the year now, and there's very little quotas now, which I think is important, because even though we started hunting them years ago, we're never going to take them out. Like our forefathers or ancestors used every means possible to take out the wolves back in the day, because they were killing their livestock, they were killing the game herds, and then we bring them back. And I would say that hunters are more sophisticated now than they were then. They have long range guns, they have spotting scopes, stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. We're still not going to we're never going to like diminish the wolves. The wolves will always be there.
Sure.
And so after we started hunting them, the first couple of years we started hunting wolves, people were killing wolves, and people still kill wolves now, but like they got smart. Wolves are very smart animals.
Yeah.
And so they got wise to the calls, they got wise to certain things. So Idaho just opened it up, and like you can literally hunt wolves for at least 10 months out of the year now, which I think is important. Like let them know where they stand.
Well, my fear for Oregon is what you guys dealt with in Idaho years, before you guys were allowed to hunt them as much. You can't hunt them in Oregon. So if they start to grow in population, what are they going to do to our elk? I mean, they're just going to, they could diminish the elk herds in no time at all. That's kind of what my fear is over here.
No, I would agree. And I just wonder, like with our topography and our close quarters, as far as just like rainforest, is that going to help them a boatload? Like, it's not this open plain stuff and wide open stuff. I have no idea. I don't know if that's a benefit for wolves or not.
I think it's a huge benefit for wolves. Like
I would
wolves
say
are hard. Wolves are hard to call in, and especially in your country, you can't see. Like 2 times I've seen wolves. I've seen them at over 1,000 yards, and I was glassing an elk herd, and wolves were like working in on them. Like where you guys are at, like it's going to be tough to kill wolves in there. Like the trappers hopefully will get a finger on it, and they can take out some of the wolves. But like to kill a wolf and like where we hunt Roosevelt's with you guys, it's gonna be very, very difficult.
Yeah, really.
We have the road pack that's not that far from where we live, and if they ever got over here, that's the fear that it would really.
If you got wolves on the coast, if you guys get wolves on the coast, it's gonna be very tough to keep them managed, in my opinion.
No, I would agree. All right, Gwen Pina. Yep. Okay, will you guys put? When will you guys put the silicone cups on the website? Been dying to buy one ever since Salt Lake Expo. Soon, yeah. So we're gonna have those on And anyway, it's going to be, so right now on our website, we're doing the No Kid Hungry 10% off on our everything bought on our website. And we just appreciate everybody that's been supporting us, as well as, you know, I mean, everybody says, well, yeah, you know, you guys are doing this for a sales ploy just to get people to, but at the same time to put out free content. And maybe Casey, you can kind of address this too. It's a lot. We have a lot of families that, you know, are provided by our apparel and our views on YouTube as well. So,
well, inform me real quick. What's the No Kid Hungry thing? I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so we're giving 10% of every single sale, and through this whole coronavirus, we're doing 10% to No Kid Hungry, and it's been a big thing with all my kids that are in school right now. I mean, their lunches and stuff like that. You don't think about that. You think, oh yeah, my kids are in school. You know, this is what it is. But you know what? The lunches are all provided. All the, you know, and kids get that every day. But there's a lot of kids out there that their families, that's their lunch for all their kids, and it's super important, I think. And anyway, and
so that's what you guys are doing, is like 10% of all your sales on your site is going to that organization.
Correct. Yeah.
It's freaking amazing, man. I didn't even know about it. And like I've thought about it here, but like when they closed schools down, I didn't think about like kids going hungry because, you know, my kids have lunch money or whatever, but like that was a big ordeal here. And luckily they opened up a thing that you can go and get your kids lunch still every day. Yeah. And feed them. But like, I didn't know you guys were doing it. I think it's amazing. And people are going to give you a hard time about, oh, it's a sales ploy, but literally guys, like when we sell merchandise, it's all like markup. So like we buy merchandise for a certain amount of money, and then we advertise it, and then we sell it, and we get X amount of money. If Born and Raised is giving 10% of that up, like that's not a sales ploy. That's them trying to do good things for people that are in need. That's amazing. Like good on you guys. I didn't know you guys were doing that.
Yeah. Appreciate you for following us, but yeah.
I actually don't even know who you are. Do you guys have a channel?
Guys, we are. Yeah, we do. It's a startup channel. Actually, I have a GoFundMe account in the bottom right corner. If you could check that out. Really. No, so anyway, anyway, we're over an hour into this, guys. We're gonna finish with that, and I just want to thank everybody for joining us. It was awesome. I don't want to take up too much of your time because you're on a different. You're an hour ahead of us. So, Case, I really appreciate it, man.
No, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, let's do it again soon.
It feels like I'm actually hanging out with my buddies again, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah,
which is funny. Like you don't think about it. Like you don't think about like personal like contact or like, you know, socializing with your bros, you know, over phone calls or texts. You don't think about that, but like see your guys' face. It's like we're sitting around a campfire hanging out, talking like we always do. And it's been fun, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, let's do it again soon. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
No, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone that was watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your guys' questions. And every single Thursday at 6 or 7, depending on the guests that we have come on. If they're more back east, we're going to do it sooner. But if it's regular time, we're going to do it at 7. So anywhere in between there, and we're going to, you know, we'll tell you guys exactly when it's going to be. So thank you guys so much. Steve, as always.
It's been awesome.
Yep.
Oh, here he is.
Okay. We're just shutting off.
Where did he go?
Was Logie showing up?
He
showed up.
Oh,
what was that?
Troy